The mother's pride turns to humiliation at the chic club. What her CEO's son did next shocked everyone. The valet barely had time to open the door before Dona Gloria Fernandez stepped out of her sleek black SUV, clutching her leather handbag with both hands. She didn't flaunt designer labels, but everything about her exuded care. Well-tailored clothes, impeccable stitching, and a dignified posture with every step. Her wide-brimmed white hat, adorned with a ribbon matching her shoes, was the kind her late husband always praised, his Sunday best hat. The Pedro Branca Country Club lay quiet under a cloudless sky. Dario had promised a simple lunch. Come, Mom, just a quick toast after the signing. No speeches, okay? He'd said. She swelled with pride for him. The son who turned a single warehouse in Jundiaí into a national delivery empire. That day, his company was merging with the prestigious Velha Guarda Group. Old money, heavy surnames, but Dona Gloria cared little for that. She was there to support her son, because he'd asked. She'd barely reached the marble steps when a woman in a navy uniform blocked her path. "Excuse me," the woman said, expressionless. Deliveries and staff used the back entrance. Dona Gloria tilted her head, confused. "I'm here to lunch with my son, Dario Fernandez." The woman didn't flinch. "Yes, well, if you're staff or with catering, the rule is clear. The back entrance is to the left." Dona Gloria blinka slowly. It wasn't the first time someone assumed, but it still stung. "I'm not staff. I'm a guest." Across the veranda, Dario Fernandez had just raised his glass, his eyes scanning the lawn. They landed on his mother and the uniform-clad woman, and something tightened in his chest. Dona Gloria took a deep breath, striving to stay calm. "You can check the list. My name is Gloria Fernandez. My son is one of the owners here today." Before the woman could respond, a sharp voice cut through like glass on stone. "Well, it seems they let just anyone in now, don't they?" Senora Bettina Cavalcante, pearls weighing down her neck, smirked. "Are we letting the cleaning staff dine with us now?" Heads turned. A man stifled a chuckle. Dario's jaw clenched mid-toast, his smile vanishing. He set his glass down slowly. His colleagues noticed the shift. Dona Gloria lifted her gaze, her face serene but her grip tightening on her bag. Senora Bettina sauntered off, dismissing the incident as routine. Dario crossed to his mother, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You okay?" She nodded, though she wasn't. "I don't want to cause trouble, my son." "I know you don't," he said, "but I will." He turned to the staff member. "This is my mother. You just disrespected the most important person in this building." The woman's mouth opened, then closed, her face flushing with shame. Dario didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. He escorted Dona Gloria back to the car, opening the door and helping her in. She grasped his arm before he closed it. "Don't ruin your moment for me." He met her eyes. "You are the moment." Then he shut the door and returned to those marble steps, a calm masking of fierce resolve. What he did hours later shook boardrooms, headlines, and families across the country. Back in the dining hall, Dario's chair sat empty. The pen for the final agreement lay beside a thick stack of papers. Over a year of negotiations, revisions, and corporate strategy leading to this day. A champagne tower gleamed near the windows. Everything was in place except Dario. The mood shifted the moment he returned. No drama, no shouting, just a heavy, tense silence, the kind that follows a storm no one dares name. "Everything all right?" asked Dr. Ricardo Perez, Velha Guarda's general counsel, his forced calm hinting at millions at stake. Dario didn't answer immediately. He scanned the room, directors, family, lawyers, his gaze settling on Signora Bettina Cavalcante. She sipped her wine, legs crossed, oblivious to the interruption, certain the deal was sealed and money had won. He walked to his chair, hands on the backrest, but didn't sit. "I want to say something," he began. Heads lifted, the room didn't quiet. It froze. "You all know what this deal meant. Not just for our companies, the market, or the next generation of tech infrastructure in this country. This merger would have changed everything." He paused, meeting each face. "But I won't sign." 2 seconds of silence. Then murmurs erupted. "Wait, what?" Senora Bettina's head snapped around. Not quickly, but sharply enough to show the sting. "Excuse me," she said, almost laughing. Dario nodded. "Excuse me, indeed." Dr. Ricardo tried. "Is this a negotiation tactic?" "Dario, if there's a concern, we can revisit the table." Dario sat, not in the signing chair, but in a distant corner away from the papers. "There's no table anymore." Senora Bettina huffed, leaning forward with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Let's not overreact over a simple misunderstanding. I didn't recognize the woman, that's all." Dario blinked once, slowly. "That woman is my mother." "I'm aware of that now," she replied, straining for calm. He cut in, voice low, almost gentle. "You knew what you were doing. You said what you meant." Dr. Ricardo cleared his throat. "We've invested millions in preparation. There are legal implications here." Dario leaned back, casual. "Then see you in court. You can explain to the judge why disrespecting my family was part of your strategy." "Don't be emotional," Senora Bettina muttered. That was the breaking point. He leaned forward, hands clasped. "You think I built this company from a fancy office? I hauled trucks, made deliveries at 3 a.m., managed payroll on a folding table when we couldn't afford an accountant. I watched my mother take buses to clean houses so I could keep the lights on. So when she shows up here, proud, in her best, and you humiliate her, you humiliate me." No one spoke. He stood one last time. "There are deals you lose sleep over not signing. This isn't one of them." He left, without briefcase, papers, or handshake, just silence. WY morning, silence was no longer an option. The story broke on a small Sao Paulo business podcast, leaked by a lunch attendee. Black CEO walks away from $900 million deal after mother insulted by white billionaire family. By midday, Tecnopulso, Fortuna, and Negocios Hoji had picked it up. TV hosts debated it nationwide. Not because a deal fell, but because of why. A photo of Dario entering his Rio office, sans sunglasses, just him with coffee, greeting the receptionist, went viral. Reporters shouted, "Was Senora Bettina's comment the reason? And do you regret losing $900 million?" He replied, "Not yet." Inside, his team fielded nonstop calls. Some investors were confused, others furious, but surprising number were proud. Messages flooded in. Executives, warehouse workers, retired teachers, all saying, "Thank you for not letting it slide." That afternoon, Dario held a press conference. No press kits, no set, just a simple podium, a folding table, and 20 reporters crammed into a room for 10. "I didn't cancel for money," he began. "I canceled because once you let disrespect in, it spreads. I wasn't raised that way, and I won't build a future on silence." A reporter asked if Senora Bettina's comment was direct. "Yes, loud enough for those nearby to hear, smug enough for my mother to feel it." Another asked if it justified walking away. "Depends on what kind of company you're trying to build," he said. "Respect isn't negotiable." If we trade it for contracts, we've already lost. He stepped down, leaving as he had before. Outside, the world shifted. Clips of his speech hit TikTok, X, and YouTube. An ex-Cavalcante staffer shared being ordered to use the service elevator at a gala. A Latina caterer recounted being asked to remove her apron before entering a lobby. The thread exploded with thousands of shares. Dario hadn't planned a movement, but sometimes one stand ignites others behind closed doors. Velha Guarda panicked. In an emergency board meeting, Bettina's eldest, Dr. Carlos Cavalcante, asked, "Do we issue an apology?" Bettina scoffed. "I don't apologize to overreactors." "You insulted his mother publicly during the signing," someone countered. "What did you expect? We've said worse here," she argued. "None of us lost a $1 billion deal over it," Carlos murmured. "But the numbers are shifting. Shareholders are asking questions. Brand analysts warn of reputational costs. Their PR team hesitated to spin it. That weekend, Velha Guarda's name took a hit. Past slights resurfaced, reframed as arrogance with a smile. Meanwhile, Dario faced pressure from within. His executive team met in a glass-walled room overlooking the stock exchange. Elias Torres, CFO, spoke first. "We need to discuss the long-term impact. In 6 months, we had international infrastructure tied to this." Dario nodded. "We're watching for legal retaliation. Velha Guarda's already prepping a breach of contract suit, claiming I tanked it for personal reasons." "It was principle," he added. "But can we afford principle now?" Julia Rios, COO, asked. "We're barely Series C. Won't the board panic?" Dario's gaze steadied. "Let them." Nadia Barbosa, CMO, leaned in. "I support you, but you're a headline now, a symbol. People call you the man who walked away from $1 billion to protect his mother. That comes with a price." Elias added, "Investors want guarantees." Dario stood by the window, watching a mother cross the street with her child. "I won't teach people that power means swallowing everything, here in my company or for a check." Julie outside. "But what if we break?" "Then we rebuild," Dario said, "but we won't rot inside." Nadia nodded, then Elias, and finally Julia shrugged. "We'll hold for now." 2 days later, Tarcisio Sampaio, his cousin and co-founder, texted, "Need to talk face-to-face." They met at a Pinheiro's diner, the same table where they'd sketched their first plan on napkins. Tarcisio, already there with coffee, cut to it. "Banco Unio suspended our credit line, the one for Northeast expansion." Dario nodded. "I figured they might." Tarcisio stared. "You figured? This wasn't just any buyout. It was our generational leap, our kids' future. I wouldn't let that future be built on my mother's humiliation," Dario replied. Tarcisio shook his head. "What if this was her fight, not yours?" "She wasn't fighting. She was being trampled." Tarcisio sighed. "This isn't Junjai anymore. You decided for us all without asking. Now people say you did it for fame." "I did it because I was raised not to sell my name for a seat at someone else's table," Dario shot back. Tarcisio leaned back. "You're lucky they see you as a hero. Hope it lasts." Dario tossed a 20 real note on the table. "If it doesn't, I'll still sleep fine." A call came Wednesday night. Post 8 p.m. Dario, alone in his darkened office, nearly ignored the block number but answered on instinct. "Senor Fernandez," a raspy voice said, "I'm not calling to cause trouble. You need to know what they're planning." It was a former Cavalcante legal team member. "They're prepping a countersuit," digging into your early records, first funding rounds, trying to paint you as unstable. They'll say you brought politics into business, ruined shareholder value, hoping people forget why you left. Why tell me? Dario asked. Because I've seen it before. They destroy, then deny. You embarrass them publicly, they'll bury you quietly. The line went dead. Dario called Nadia next morning. They're coming for you, she said, unsurprised. Bettina won't lose silently. She'll flip the narrative, make you the aggressor. Let her try, he replied. Nadia planned ahead. A 48-hour media campaign. Real stories, no slogans. Warehouse workers, investors, ex-interns shared testimonials. The most powerful was Gloria's. I didn't raise my son to be a businessman. I raised him to be a man who stands when standing means losing something. It went viral. Cavalcante's subtle, discrediting faltered. Each move backfired at a week later. Velha Guarda leaked documents alleging Dario breached a 2018 deal with Linhas Aegis Logistica. Leonardo Santos, the CEO, countered publicly. Dario left because he refused salary cuts for our drivers. I wish I'd done the same. The narrative slipped further. Bettina, losing ground, blamed a social media fad. Carlos warned, it's not fading, it's growing because you won't admit fault. She sipped her coffee, unshaken. I won't apologize for standards. He stood. Then the family business doesn't need you. In Junjai's backyard, Dario tended basil with his mother. Gloria, in a faded Sunday dress, moved methodically. You okay with the attention? He asked. Attention doesn't bother me, she said, but I know what comes with it. What do you mean? They don't like when we leave with our heads high. It makes them feel small, so they try to shrink us. He sat on the steps. They're still saying I ruined it for nothing. She looked up. You know it wasn't nothing. Those who say that don't know the cost of respect. He nodded. Tarcisio's still upset. Feels I took from the family. She sat beside him. Every family has its storm. If you bend in it, will you pass to those after you? You protected me, and you protected me, but it wasn't just about me. It's what you represent now. Don't run from it. That night, Dario watched his press conference replay. His phone buzzed. Leonardo Santos. Capital's board wants to talk. They're forming an ethics panel. You'd lead. He hadn't sought this, but silence had its price. With Nadia and Giuliao, he sketched growth plans. We'll grow without them. Prove we never needed that deal. Nadia smiled. That's the Dario I remember. Giuliao laughed. Took him long enough. Dario added, next week, a community day, warehouse staff, interns, food, music. A family reunion where everyone brings a dish. Then came a plain envelope, no return address, just his name. Inside, a handwritten letter. Dear Senor Fernandez, I don't know you, but I know who you are. My father was the Cavalcante gardener from 1985 until his death in 2009. He raised me and my sisters with that job, teaching us pride even when invisible. I cried seeing your story, not because it surprised me, but because someone said no and meant it. You reminded me of him. He never had your platform, but had his courage. Just wanted you to know not everyone forgets where they come from or who they stand for. With respect, Camila Santos. Dario found her, a fourth-grade teacher in Belo Horizonte, off social media, living simply with a rescue dog. He visited, bringing banana cake. They talked for hours. Her father's refusal to call the Cavalcantes sir or ma'am, his lessons from contracts and invoices. He'd have liked you, she said, not for your fortune, but for knowing when to walk away. She gave him a photo of her father under an oak, rake in hand, proud. For when the world gets loud again. A voicemail came next. Djalma, his father's brother, absent for 20 years since the funeral. I heard what you did with the deal, your mother. I'm proud. I'm sorry for so much. Call me. Dario hesitated, then dialed. They talked. Fishing, Dario's high school football, Djalma's quiet support from the stands. No closure but lightness. Forgiveness isn't approval, Dario later told his team. It's refusing to let bitterness take all your space. A young intern thanked him. My dad said no one in business follows principles. You proved him wrong. He smiled. My mother proved it. Legacy, he realized, isn't what you leave behind. It's what you live and refuse to let die in silence. The Gloria Initiative launched healthcare, childcare, scholarships for workers' families. At the first community day, Dario spoke. I turned down $900 million. They call me crazy, but this is worth more. As the sun set, he felt peace until Djalma's voice pulled him back to a past he thought buried.